What the fuck is happening? Take two. It is your boy, the Sultan of Steve, the Ayatollah of Indica, aka Ned Sparks, aka the Bobby Fischer of BH Show, aka Johnny Hash, aka the Holiest Ashton, aka the Gordon of Ganj, aka the Hickson of Hash, aka fucking Donald Blunt, aka Dwight Durbin, aka Willie the Cool Penguin, aka Lord Bongtimore. And I'm here tonight, Saturday Night Live, with a brand spanking new episode of Let's Talk About It. You know what? No, what? I'm doing this shit. Where is it at? Where is it at? We'll do a live. Fuck it. We'll do a live. I don't know if anyone's gonna come in here. I'm gonna do a live recording. Fuck it. Fuck it. We'll do a live. Yeah, you all remember that old fucking Bill Riley video? Bill Riley. We'll do a live. Fuck it. Fuck it. We'll do a live. I don't know. I'm gonna just do this, and I hope it doesn't interfere with me having to use the browser for other fucking articles. So we can go through. You already know it is a uh at the show, the Let's Talk About It. We have many formats. Um, Sometimes I'll just fucking get in there and rant. Other times it is trippy looking at myself twice, and there's a slight delay on the YouTube live, so it's like when I'm going this way, YouTube me is going the other way. Kind of crazy. I think yeah, we're live, 20 seconds over there. So if you're smart, you'll be on live. You'll be here with us doing it live. Um, if you're not, then you're just fucking here. I probably should have decided to do this and told the Instagrams, and that way maybe a couple people will jump in, but who knows? I'm not pressed either way. Got a couple of formats. Sometimes I'll have a guest on, whether that's a friend of mine or somebody that becomes my friend via the um the episode and the talking and the hanging out and the having a good time and just loving life, chatting it up. Do all We talk about all things. Okay, sometimes it's fun things, sometimes it's crazy things. Sometimes I interview cannabis company owners. Sometimes I own people like Dr. Kim McGeorge, who is really with the science of the universe. Sometimes I interview fucking straight edge hardcore dudes. Sometimes I interview prisoners that were released from federal custody by a nonprofit that helps weed people. Okay, check those out. Sometimes it's just my buddies. You know, I I just like having cool conversations. So if you know someone cool that wants to have a cool conversation, send them my way. I'm also right now looking for anybody and everyone who has some sort of story with cannabis in recovery. This is somewhat of a recovery podcast, probably not in the most traditional sense, which is fine because fuck them. Um, and it's crazy thinking about how the recovery world's changed so much since I first became a part of it. And while that is very much its own thing, there's a lot of people doing their own thing and saying, fuck 12 steps. It's a cult. And I don't go that far because I do believe that it's very valuable and the principles contained within it uh, and the steps themselves are a great outline to help you uh, stay clean. Whoa. Drinking a Ghost Energy, Bubblicious Cotton Candy. I was actually very skeptical. Oh, sorry. I was very skeptical that was going to be good. I should have known better because Ghost is usually on their shit. The Bubblicious Cotton Candy gum was always my favorite. That blue and pink, swirly, colored, little perfect cube, perfect rectangular prism. You know, that little fucking goose on it, shiny blue wrapper. Yeah, they did it all. Good job, Ghost. Sponsor the kid. Give me an unlimited supply, and I promise I'll be cracked up on caffeine all day, every day. I don't know if it's just an ADD thing or what, but I need it. multiple energy drinks. Okay, if I looked at the amount of my budget that I spent on energy drinks, it would probably be sickening. Okay, all types, and that's even including some cheap ones. The occasional Rip It will get you geeked up. If you're new here, welcome. If you're old here, welcome. If you're somewhere in the middle, welcome. We got a lot going on. Sometimes we got the Baltimore News Network where I go through and pick some articles of some things that I've seen on the interwebs that make me feel some type of way to where I need to share them with you because I didn't know these things were happening. And so maybe you don't know either. And we should learn about them together because, I'm a father of three. I look at ways to improve the situation for my kids. Uh, they're amazing. Like I take this dad shit real seriously. And it's important that we learn about what's happening in the world. Oh, and speaking of, I just thought of something. See, the problem is I have too many places, too many different social accounts where I like find little shits. And the problem is that I forget where they all are, so I'll look something up, get the article ready, and then I forget, like, oh yeah, I got this one too. Military base phone takeover Anunnaki. Okay. Cleveland 13 news. It's great. Okay, so maybe this was just a TikTok thing. We'll get back to that one. Okay, this is the number one canna podcast. It's an educational podcast. Sometimes I talk about cannabis stuff. Times I do not. And I am curious where the live stream went. It seems to have gone somewhere. Maybe it's no. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, okay. So I can switch different places on the screen. Oh, and I can screen share on YouTube. Dang. So if you're on YouTube, you're gonna get the screen shares. That is a benefit because I don't always record in the Riverside app. On my phone, I can't pull up the different articles and the shit that I'm talking about. You're just getting the reading. Here, you're about to get the screen share. When I start hitting off these articles, and if you're smart, you'll look at some of these other tabs and maybe what books I got, which I'm going to start uploading some of them, I think. About to record them. There's a lot of books I want to read, but I just don't have the time. So I figure maybe I'll listen to them because they're like not that important for me to read, but maybe they are. I'll listen to the book, and if it's A1, then I'll go back and read it. Make some highlights. I'm an active reader. If you can't read, you're fucked. Highly recommend you get some hooked on phonics. You do something that's going to help you to be able to read. Because if you can't, you're done ski. You can get like whole life lessons from somebody's whole life in one book. $20, $10, free off the Internet Archive. It's up to you, man. Quit bullshitting. So let's dive in. Sometimes with the Baltimore News Network, I focus solely on cannabis articles and what's going on in the cannabis industry, as that's where the Let's Talk About It podcast was born out of love for the plant, love for the culture, and the real community. Um, since the inception of the Let's Talk About It podcast and all of the things that I've done, I've become so disillusioned and not caring of what's going on in the cannabis world. It's ridiculous. The people who I just see fucking online are, bleh. And I keep wanting to get some of these people to like talk to them, but I'm scared of the look on my face and what they will perceive about it. Plus, I don't know. We'll see. I haven't, I got some people that I've asked in the industry. And honestly, I think they're scared to come talk about it because they know the conversation might go into some areas about their job that they don't want to discuss. And I understand that. But, sometimes you got to be Ted Cruz, man. You got to go on Tucker and try and defend your position, even if Tucker roasts you. And in this analogy, I'm Tucker. And the roasting is really just asking questions and looking for clarity. So, but also if your former industry, you got some whistleblowing to do, bust it out. That's great. We want it. I'm all about it. So before I get into it, if you want to support this show, housekeeping. Many ways you can do that. All right. Go to firstforum.com/ElliotAces, buy some stuff or ask me for a link. I'll give it to you. You can go to my link tree. You can go to lordbongtimore.com. There's links in there. You can fucking get them. Get you some stuff. Support the podcast and support your motherfucking self. 1P, baby. Dues paid. All right. That's how we do it. America. You can support this podcast by simply sharing it. All right. Costs you no money. I know times are tough. Be a true American. Love your neighbor. Me. I'm the fucking guy next door. All right. And I'm gonna come to bat for you. Sit fucking jumps off. Okay? Because I'm a leader. I'm in the community, all communities. I'm a leader. So we're gonna get into it. Okay. I'm gonna share the screen here on the YouTubes. Okay. Let's let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little controversial here. I was trying to look for it, but I saw a link talking about earlier about the Carmelo Anthony case and Austin Metcalf. And if you're unfamiliar, oh, excuse me, the um the general gist, I don't know how you'd be unfamiliar with it. It's something being utilized to continue to further stoke the already great relations between white and black people. I've been on this planet for fucking 37 years, and you see all this stuff, and at a certain point, it's like, why? What is happening here? We got all this shit, fake fucking protests. Well, not fake, it's real in the sense that people are there protesting ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. You just that one I feel like is kind of easy too, right? It's like who is the number one Trump voting base? White people. Who's the number two? Spanish people. Okay. That's why they're trying to fucking stoke the shit. I just don't understand. How do you, as somebody living, working, breathing in America, go to a protest and wave around a Mexican flag? If Does it not seem logical? Just using a base level of logic. If you want to be in Mexico, if you like Mexico so much, why are you in America? The questions to be asked, and nobody fucking hates on the fucking Mexican neighbors that you have that have been here 20 years. They're fucking Americans, dude. At this point, they're fucking Americans. But there is a distinction that needs to be made when it comes to what's been happening at the border the last 5 years. Obviously, there's some semblance of shit being chill now. But a lot of people came in that aren't just asylum seekers looking for a better life in America. And then you got all these fucking people who will throw out shit like, there are no illegal people on stolen land. Okay. Stole, Stolen from who? Native Americans? What did they do prior to the colonizing white Spaniards? Well, they fucking raped, pillaged, enslaved, took territory, stole land, territory, beef with other Native Americans. The shit's not. History is history, man. Humans. It's in our DNA. We want to conquer shit. We like it. And even the weak, pussified, bitch ass people who are constantly like, these people are oppressive. I mean, that's their way of trying to usurp power is by just complaining and calling shit racist or sexist or homophobic or this or that until they have the power. I have no power. I'm just a regular dude. I don't fucking hate anybody. I actually fucking give people way too many chances. I actually probably should hate some people based on the things that they do and have done to me. But the reality is, I ain't no victim. Never have been. Never will be. Every situation that I've been in that was a bad one where I got fucked over, I was there. And I saw some potential for my best opportunity to win. So it is what it is. You know, while we just fucking sit here and fight this shit, and I'm gonna go ahead and just get right into it. Um, you look at this Carmelo Anthony situation. I was fucking trying to look it up on Google. There was like nothing. Let's see. Share screen on this one. Okay. Defense team. I haven't read this one. It was one that I looked up. Marca.com. Defense team for Carmelo Anthony. The alleged murderer of Austin Metcalf may face problems following the release of surveillance video footage. Well, yeah, I would assume so because, you know, there was a slight altercation and the guy, Carmelo, stabbed the other kid in the heart. And let's say he felt threatened. Is feeling threatened at a high school track meet enough of a reason to stab someone in the heart? I would say no. I've been in many situations where I felt threatened, uh, and you know what I did? I got my ass out of there. I definitely didn't stab anyone in the heart. Okay. In an unexpected development within one of this year's most heartbreaking juvenile crime cases, new surveillance video has surfaced that may significantly weaken Carmelo Anthony's defense strategy. And that's why, I mean, I definitely made some comments about it when it happened a couple months ago, but you really see where people are at when this stuff jumps off right away. The reality is that most people, when this happened, were on some straight jackass shit. You see the anti-whiteness come out. Okay, it's like, oh, he did the right thing. How many? He raised his GoFundMe raised almost $1 million. Dude bought a brand new car, got a new house, whole nine for step. Got out a bail lowered, got out released. And to me, this shit is all intentional. It's all put out there to fucking make us get fired up because I can tell you I feel somewhat fired up. It's like right is right and wrong is wrong. You don't get to just stab somebody in the fucking heart, kill them, forget the fact that it's like some 17-year-old and the lifetime of potential still available, the lifetime of potential wasted by both people, you know? Because if Carmelo Anthony does get convicted of murder and goes away to jail for the rest of his life, I mean, that's not good. It's a waste. Captured from wide-angle cameras at a high school track meet, the footage presents critical moments that contradict Anthony's claim of self-defense and could pose serious challenges for his legal team. Anthony is charged with first-degree murder in the fatal stabbing of peer and rival track athlete Austin Metcalf. According to witnesses, the dispute escalated when Metcalf asked Anthony to move from under a team tent. Anthony allegedly responded, "Touch me and see what happens," then drew a knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest. Under Texas open records law, Frisco ISD has now provided a limited version of the surveillance footage. However, the footage is wide angle, grainy, and shows only distant figures, not clear facial details, making identification difficult. Legal analysts warned that the new footage could significantly undercut it. Texas law, deadly force is only justified if the defendant reasonably believed they faced imminent danger beyond just verbal provocation. If witnesses in video confirm that Metcalf did not brandish a weapon and only touched Anthony, prosecutors contend there would be no legal basis for resorting to deadly force. A crucial factor will be whether the video or supporting evidence reveals that Anthony flashed the knife first. In such a scenario, under Texas law, he would be classified as the aggressor unless he clearly attempted to withdraw from the interaction. It's pretty simple. He's over on the other team's tent, and when asked to leave, says, "If you touch me, see what happens." To me, and I think most reasonable, logical human, it seems like, provocation here. Witness accounts already quote Anthony saying, "Is he okay? And will this count as self-defense?" Shortly after the stabbing, potential indicators he recognized the gravity of his actions. Amid intense local and national coverage, including public rallies and heated online debate, the video's emergence offers prosecutors a focal point for their narrative. Anthony may have wielded his knife as a first strike rather than an act of preservation. What remains unclear is whether the surveillance footage captures any physical moves that could tip the scales, stepping forward toward Metcalf with the knife drawn, or a clearer timeline showing Anthony's abrupt escalation. The defense team, comprised of attorneys Mike Howard, Kim Cole, and Billy Clark, previously emphasized Anthony's clean record, academic success, and athletic commitments while seeking to show his actions stemmed from fear rather than malice. Right. Okay. Um, yes. But that's where the whole wasted potential comes into play. The fact of the matter being that um, this kid is fucking his whole life up, and he killed another human for nothing. What is that supposed to say? How are you supposed to feel? So I love when Matt Walsh was fucking talking about that Shiloh Hendrix situation. What the fuck happened to her? She made a cool couple 100,000 for calling a 5-year-old a nigger, apparently, and that was it. Got her bread and ran off. Kind of crazy. I'm gonna have to fucking edit that out because YouTube might take it down. God damn it. Oh, maybe not. Who knows? We will see. We will see. Okay. And then, I was actually having a hard time finding this shit. Um, so I was having a hard time finding it when I did I was watching another one now. That one uh, sucked. That wasn't really a good. Get rid of that. What the fuck? I don't even know. I don't even know how I got to that article. Okay, that's the one we just read. Um, Channel 13 News in Cleveland posted about a viral TikTok that claims military base phones were hijacked by Anunnaki messages, and it sparks an online frenzy. I think this is one of those ones. I'm not like one of the Anunnaki guys that like really buys into any of that. And because it's become so popular, and the reason why I don't buy into it is because I've listened to a fucking million podcasts where they talk about that shit, and a lot of it comes from that dude Zachariah Sitchins and the books that he wrote, and it's like to me, it's just like some L. Ron Hubbard shit, some Scientology sounds good, it's some fucking Billy Carson shit, which that dude has been shown to be wrong about many of the things that he's been selling for years. Wes Huff destroyed him. And it's kind of hard to really buy into any of that shit. But anyway, I found it funny when I saw a video talking about this military base who claims their phones were taken. And then subsequently, I saw another video talking about a whole town had this happen, apparently. So big shout out to Channel 13 News Cleveland for busting this joint out. Hold on, I'm going to go ahead and share it. Share screen. Tab window, entire screen. I just want to know, am I in the am I in there? So if I share the entire screen, wah, 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 that's horrible. Stupid. Idiot. Where'd the Anunnaki go? Sun takeover. Great. Okay, that's where I stop sharing from. Um, no, here we go. Channel 13 News. A viral claim circulating on TikTok that an entire military base experienced a sudden hijacking of mobile phones for approximately 2 minutes, during which a message appeared stating, "This is the Anunnaki, we are here." The story, which has gained traction across several social media posts, remains unverified and unsupported by any official or credible sources. But we at Channel 13 News, so Cleveland, Ohio, want to report on it anyway because fuck it. It's interesting and we need some clicks. And if you're unfamiliar with the Anunnaki story, essentially these are beings that come from a planet called Nibiru that's within Our orbit, it's only like visible in our orbit every 3,500 years or something. It's like right past Mars, I guess. I don't buy into any of it. But the Anunnaki basically have us enslaved to mine gold for them so that they can like suspend it in the atmosphere of their home planet Nibiru to stop them from getting destroyed by intergalactic space haters. uh, I believe is the story. I personally have not read Zachariah Sitchin's book. I can't recommend it to you, but if you're interested in a fun story about the Anunnaki and how they came to be and what that's all about, then check it out. You know, it's like the Emerald tablets tell you all about the Anunnaki, I guess. The Emerald tablets of Thoth, 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 Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great, if you will. I will. The purported incident is described as a coordinated digital intrusion affecting military personnel's phones, rendering them frozen and displaying the anomalous message. TikTok accounts with names such as engaging military challenges for fun and entertainment have propagated the story, contributing to its widespread attention online. Despite the claim's growing popularity, no statements have been issued by the DoD, U.S. Cyber Command, or any branch of the military confirming that such an event took place. Yeah, why would they tell you that? They don't want to tell you that. Excuse me. Um, there is currently no credible evidence to support the notion that any military communication systems or devices were compromised in the manner described, stated Cleveland 13 Community Fact Checkers investigative team following a comprehensive review of available information, meaning that they gave it a goog. They gave it a goog and said there were no credible sources. You know, I gave it a goog too and couldn't find any credible sources, so I'll verify that. Okay, Channel 13 News, Cleveland, Ohio, on point. WKJZ. I don't think that's what they are, but it is Channel 13 News, Ohio. You can look it up. It's give it a goog. It's about one of the only ones come up. The messages attribute. Okay, experts note that the military issued devices are equipped with advanced encryption and multiple layers of security. The Anunnaki could absolutely not breach the multiple layers of security. Okay. Mass compromise of such devices, especially involving external messages, would trigger immediate and extensive security responses. Yeah, but you're talking about intergalactic beings uh, that can do whatever they want. Okay. uh, Including forensic analysis, public disclosures, and possibly legal or military action. Yep, military, U.S. military. We're gonna drop some bombs on the Anunnaki, bring that Nibiru near us, and we're gonna kill them dead. Fucking Ted Cruz is gonna go on Tucker talking about how we need to be hawking fucking peace through strength. Go sending your kids to war against the Anunnaki on the planet Nibiru. We're not mining gold for you anymore, Anunnaki, Inky, and whoever else. I forget the rest of them. Uh, the message attributed to the Anunnaki references a group of mythological deities from ancient Sumerian lore, often cited in fringe theories, but without any grounding in scientific or technological reality. Agreed. There's no recognized connection between these mythological figures and any modern military or technological operations. Cybersecurity analysts have also emphasized the technical implausibility of the event. Any such infiltration would likely leave extensive digital footprints in the form of logs, security alerts, and network anomalies, none of which have surfaced in connection with this claim. So clearly it didn't happen. Prior documented cyber intrusions, including recent attacks on secure messaging platforms, bear no resemblance to the scenario described in the TikTok video. The most plausible explanation, according to analysts, is that the incident is either a hoax, a staged social media prank, or a gross misinterpretation of an unrelated technical glitch affecting personal non-military devices. The story exists solely within the ecosystem of short-form social media content and lacks any corroboration from independent or official reporting. Now, I need to know real quick. Anunnaki. Oh, that's not doing it. I guess while I'm sharing the screen, I can't search, so we'll stop sharing here. Okay. Okay. I wish this would like green screen behind me. Manage. Huh. Okay, I don't know. Pop out dashboard. Okay. Oop, I got the pop out dashboard. Recording apparently is going excellent. We've had one view. Great. No chats, zero concurrent viewers. That's fine. Fuck y'all. One like though. Dude liked it before he left. That's great. It's fucking awesome. I hope whoever you are, you texted me or messaged me on the DM because you didn't send me a chat. All right, you got to let people know that you like this shit by sending me a fucking chat. Doesn't even have to be a super chat, just a regular chat. Okay? I'm gonna see what's good. Hockey, take over full towns. Wow, there's a lot of posts about the Anunnaki that have nothing to do with this. Okay, so we'll get off that topic. We don't even fucking care. Who cares? Channel 13 News, thank you for giving us some entertainment for 2 minutes. I'm not sharing my screen. So, while we're looking at the Anunnaki and, how maybe they helped us to gain some self-awareness by leaving us some fruit in the garden, aka the psychedelic of mushrooms. I really wanted to eat some mushrooms tonight, but I had other shit to do, and I knew I'd be like feeling guilty. I didn't take them. District Cannabis, friend of the Let's Talk About It podcast, episode 13. Ed Whedon, or 12 maybe. Ed Wiedenfeld, one of the founding members of the District Cannabis, rest in peace. We smoke runs in his building. So I talked about that in a recent episode. That's all good. You loved it. Let me see. So anyway, fruit of the garden. I guess I will share the screen. We're not partners yet, but I'm sure that at some point we absolutely will be. Beard Bros Farms. Where are they? Oh, there it is. Go entire screen here again. Okay. I was surprising veto of psilocybin bill HF 383. Last week, Iowa's Governor Kim Reynolds vetoed a bill that had gained unanimous approval. Unanimous in both the Iowa House of Representatives and Senate. House File 383 was designed to prepare Iowa for the potential federal approval of crystalline polymorph psilocybin, commonly referred to as Comp 360 by the FDA. I am out of the loop, bro. It's like I've heard about this. If it's what I think it is, they are trying to essentially extract the shit out of psilocybin mushrooms that is beneficial to you without actually having the trip element, which in and of itself begs the question, what exactly is the beneficial nature of psychedelic mushroom? Obviously, I only have one opinion based on my experience, is that you need the mushroom and you need to let the mushrooms guide you. Okay? Most people should do them if given the opportunity, in my opinion, but I'm not a doctor. I wouldn't recommend necessarily that you talk to one because they probably aren't into that. And because they're not getting paid by the big mushroom to prescribe them to you, they were more likely probably to prescribe you Comp 360, crystalline polymorph psilocybin. Uh, as the Beard Bros article is talking about. This decision stunned many, not only because of the overwhelming bipartisan support the bill had received, but also because of the compelling promise it held for the mental health treatments. The veto adds a compelling twist to the dialogue around the use of psychedelics for therapeutic purposes and raises eyebrows about the motivations behind blocking a bill so well supported and straightforward. The promise of HF 383 wasn't about legalization or unregulated access to psilocybin. Its purpose was straightforward but significant. The legislation would have enabled Iowa's doctors and pharmacists to prescribe and dispense psilocybin medication, and only if the FDA approved it for therapeutic use. Essentially, the law would prepare the state to align with the federal actions on psilocybin once thorough clinical trials and regulatory guidelines were completed. Psilocybin, the psychoactive compound in magic mushrooms. I fucking hate when people say magic mushrooms. Like, that's my own shit, but I hate it. Okay? I have no need for you to say magic mushrooms. If you're talking about any kind of mushrooms, I'm going to assume, unless otherwise noted, that you're talking about psychedelic mushrooms. Okay? Psilocybe cubensis. Okay? One of the other fucking psilocybe. If you say some cubes, I know what you're talking about. You say magic mushrooms, I think you're a faggot. Sorry, but I do. And that's not a gay person either. 'Cause I don't know any gay persons that are faggots. Only people that use phrases like magic mushrooms. Now, if a gay person uses that word, magic mushrooms, well, then maybe you could apply that to them, but solely based off the fact that they said magic mushrooms and not because of their sexual orientation. That would be bullying, and that is fucked up. We do not do that. Gay people are cool, dude. It's all good. No worries. As long as they're not fucking kids. Okay. But straight people are cool too. As long as they're not fucking kids. Don't fuck kids. Okay. It's not one side or the other. Not get it twisted. Let's not start getting our heart rates up. Don't get emotional. I'm not trying to stoke that. Okay. We're trying to learn about the current situation with psilocybin mushrooms. Okay. Has shown promising results in clinical settings for the treatment of depression, PTSD, and other mental health conditions that often do not respond to conventional therapies. I think it's in the last episode I just talked about it and how important it is, or maybe it was to a human that I know that was solicited my information about the Church of Our Lord and Savior, magic mushrooms, and just what their benefits are and how it can be helpful and a tool in the process, not the be all end all. You're not going to just eat some mushrooms and then your life is better. I am living proof, because if that was the case, I'd eat them every day, like this girl that I knew who ate them for about 100 days straight, and not just like a little microdose, but like I'd watch her munch 5 grams and then go pick up her kid. It was insane. Comp 360, a synthetic form of psilocybin, is already undergoing trials for the purposes. If approved, it could bring a hope to many individuals struggling with these treatment-resistant conditions. They're not treatment resistant. It's just you're giving the wrong treatments. Pills are not the answer for depression. Yeah, there's some other shit that people's brains are fucked up. I'm not going to argue. But most people that are depressed, it's because they're not doing dick with their life. They have no fucking relationship with God, no understanding of gratitude, no fucking self, no meaning. Look at their life. What are you doing? Okay. So many people that are doing fucking real shit that are struggling with depression. You know, I don't know. Uh, Whenever I get depressed, I just think about my fucking life and how grateful I am to reach another fucking day. And I know that there's some kid in Africa who fucking didn't even have any water or food today. And I'm all right, you know? I'm complaining on my fucking Chinese slave phone right now. So life ain't that bad. Shut the fuck up and push the rock. The bill was not groundbreaking in its approach. Similar initiatives have already gained traction in other states. Colorado recently signed such a measure into law, and Oregon has been at the forefront of psilocybin medical licensing. With HF 383, Iowa lawmakers attempted to get ahead of the curve, creating a pathway for medical professionals to follow federally backed science. Governor Reynolds, in her veto statement, emphasized the need for a more Iowa-centric approach and a cautious strategy. She acknowledged the growing body of research into psilocybin's therapeutic potential, but argued that the bill surrendered state authority to federal agencies like the FDA without thoroughly preparing Iowa's own public health infrastructure, regulatory systems, and law enforcement protocols. Gotta give the cops that bread. Come on, man. New industry got to clear the black market to make way for the white market. Why do they call it a black market and a white market? Huh? Why is the black market the bad one? Bitch, shut the fuck up. Uh, the governor expressed concern about the potential legal uncertainty and risks of misuse and stated that Iowa would need to create safeguards and guidelines aligned with the federal changes before moving forward. However, critics of the veto question how a bill that precisely hinged on FDA approval could possibly undermine state authority. If enacted, HF 383 would have given doctors the ability to prescribe psilocybin within the safe boundaries set by the FDA and DEA if it wouldn't open floodgates to recreational use or create loopholes enabling misuse. Give us the loopholes. Give us the fucking loopholes. You know what makes psilocybin so good? It's not a crime. A unified legislature, a divided result. What stands out most in this controversy is the legislative support behind HF 383. The measure passed unanimously in both the Senate 47-0 and the House 92-0. I bet OM Benjamin is pumped. Does he even do mushrooms? I don't know. What stands out most in the House, 92-0, an increasingly rare feat in today's polarized political climate. Bipartisan consensus on such a sensitive issue underlines the thoughtful approach lawmakers took when drafting the bill. The reasons for the governor's decision, despite overwhelming legislative support, yeah, they got support because they know somebody's going to come in there and give them that bread. Somebody, if there's political action being taken towards the legalization of psilocybin, somebody is paying somebody. The reason for the governor's decision, despite overwhelming legislative support, remains subject to intense debate. Representative Brett Barker, Nevada, who managed the bill on the legislative floor, expressed surprise at the veto and voiced his eagerness to discuss the governor's concern further. It's unexpected, he said, to the Iowa Capitol Dispatch, reflecting the general sense of confusion among lawmakers and advocates. Yeah, well, they don't want to legalize mushrooms as they are, as God gave them to us, but in their little bullshit medical way, like they did with fucking weed. Marinol, remember those? My one homegirl used to get them. She called them whoopers. She meant whoppers, but she called them whoopers. Iowa's veto comes against the backdrop of a shifting landscape in psychedelic medicine policy. States like Maine, New Mexico, Missouri, and Virginia have discussed or moved forward with psilocybin-related bills this year. Trajectory suggests a growing acknowledgement for the potential for psychedelics in healthcare, particularly for mental health conditions, yet Iowa's decision introduces a roadblock to the momentum. Governor Reynolds' insistence on waiting for clearer federal action could be seen as a prudent move by some, but it also risks leaving Iowa behind when federal approval eventually comes. Psilocybin isn't just a niche topic anymore. White women at brunch are talking about taking their microdose pills. My my baby mom takes fucking mushroom microdose pills. That's how you know this shit is in the mainstream, bro. She ain't taking them from me, you know. I mean, she ain't ever tripped. I don't know where she even gets them. I got nothing to do with it. I don't even know if they're real. Clinical trials continue to highlight psilocybin's role in creating lasting effects for individuals who struggle with PTSD, depression, and anxiety. These trials follow strict scientific and regulatory guidelines, making the substance far from experimental. Instead, it holds potential as the next step in mental health innovation. For now, HF 383 remains a missed opportunity, and its veto is a setback for many who supported the bill, including veterans, healthcare advocates, and lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. However, this is likely not the final chapter for psilocybin legislation in Iowa. Legislators are expected to regroup, refine the framework, address state specific concerns, and get the band Slipknot to come to a free benefit show to reintroduce the measure in the future. It's like, I just made that part up. The veto represents a larger question for Iowa and other states. How cautious is too cautious when faced with the opportunity to alleviate suffering? While reasonable safeguards and preparations are essential, delaying action indefinitely risks leaving vulnerable individuals without access to potentially life-changing treatment. Tap the sign. The nearly universal support of HF 383 enjoyed in the legislature shows that public change is on the horizon. The science behind psilocybin is growing, and the public opinion is shifting to view psychedelics as valuable therapeutic tools rather than recreational substances. For the thousands of Iowa residents struggling with mental health conditions unmet by traditional approaches, they eat some mushrooms, squeegee their third eye, and feel themselves basking in the power of God's love. The governor's veto feels like another hurdle, but the conversation around psilocybin continues. The unified legislative backing for the bill suggests Iowa may eventually step forward into the modern era of mental health care. What remains important now is keeping the dialogue alive, pushing for informed science-based discussions, trust the science, and ensuring that Iowa lawmakers continue to advocate for better access to treatment for tomorrow. All right. Oh, okay. Now you can see my ugly mug again, YouTube. What the fuck else? Okay, so I'm gonna save that one for next time. That'll be the end of Beard Bros. Let's do something a little fun. How deep is this? How many did I already do? Doesn't seem like this is terribly deep. Go ahead and share the screen here on the Yibs Dibs. Excuse me. I saw this. It lunched me out. Sharing the screen. This is off. I fucking love science. They have some great stuff. I've used them before for some Baltimore News Network articles. I think one of them was about something to do with a sexual thing with a lady, but I don't remember. So we got this clay tablet. I don't know if you went to eighth grade, then you probably took a pre-algebra class and had to learn the Pythagorean theorem: a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Well, we thought old Pythagoras, my brother, Freemason Pythagoras, came up with this theory, but it turns out that is not the case. You have been lied to. I have been lied to. We have been lied to. So let's calm the seethe down. Check this out. Pythagorean theorem found on clay tablet, 1,000 years older than Pythagoras. Hmm. Now, let's find out. Let's dig a little deeper. Study math for long enough, and you'll have likely have cursed Pythagoras' name or said, "Praise be to Pythagoras." Okay, well, pause. Not giving this fool praise. If you're a bit of a fan of triangles, fuck! I am a fan of triangles, but only when I'm feeling obtuse, which is anytime I'm doing jiu-jitsu. But while Pythagoras was an important historical figure in the development of mathematics, he did not figure out the equation most associated with him: a squared plus b squared equals c squared. In fact, there's an ancient Babylonian tablet by the catchy name of IM 67118 that uses the Pythagorean theorem to solve the length of a diagonal inside a triangle, a rectangle. The tablet, likely used for teaching, dates from 1770 BCE, centuries before Pythagoras was born, around 570 BC. Another tablet from around 1800 to 1600 BCE has a square with labeled triangles inside. Translating the markings from base 60, the counting system used by ancient Babylonians, showed that these ancient mathematicians were aware of the Pythagorean theorem, not called that, of course, as well as other advanced mathematical concepts. The conclusion is inescapable. The Babylonians knew the relation between the length of the diagonal of a square and its side, d equals square root of 2. Mathematician Bruce Ratner writes a paper on the topic that was probably the first number known to be irrational. However, this in turn means they were familiar with the Pythagorean theorem, or at the very least with its special case for the diagonal of a square. D squared equals a squared plus a squared equals 2a squared. I never even heard that one. More than 1,000 years before the great sage for whom it was named. So why did this get attributed to Pythagoras? No original writing from Pythagoras survives. What we do know of him was passed on by others, in particular the Pythagoreans, members of a school he set up in what is now modern day southern Italy. The school, named the Semicircle of Pythagoras, was secretive, but knowledge learned there or discovered was passed on and often attributed to the man himself. One reason for the rarity of Pythagoras' original sources was that Pythagorean knowledge was passed from one generation to the next by word of mouth, as writing material was scarce, Ratner continued. Moreover, out of respect for their leader, many of the discoveries made by Pythagoreans were attributed to Pythagoras himself. This would account for the term Pythagoras theorem. Though Pythagoras, if I have to say fucking Pythagoras one more goddamn time, did not come up with the theory, his school certainly popularized it and became associated with him for the next few thousand years, at least. That's like in jiu-jitsu, man. Somebody doesn't come up with something, but they make it popular or do some cool shit in a competition with it, it becomes theirs. An earlier version of this article was published in October 2023. Oh, so they're just reusing content. Got it. All right, I fucking love science. I don't love when you fucking just reuse your content. This is gonna be about it. Um, Thanks for sticking around. Baltimore out.